Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janet and welcome to the Call to Create podcast. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're making this day amazing because I want to talk about post-it notes. Post-it notes are your friend. And I know it seems kind of funny, but I love post-it notes and I love all the pretty colors and all the different sizes. And now you can get post-it notes in all kinds of shapes and designs. But I also wanted to talk about Overwhelm. And I wanted to ask you if you're feeling overwhelmed. Now, you could be overwhelmed in your life or in your business, or even the thought of starting a business can be overwhelming. And so I wanted to combine the two, overwhelm and post-it notes. I think that's a really cool combination, don't you? Because I love post-it notes. I have for years and years and years. And there are some people who aren't excited about post-it notes like me, but that's okay. I want to show you how wonderful it is to use it because, I'm working with a client right now who is super overwhelmed with all the things that she has in her business, and she is still working a full-time job, and she's trying to grow this business that she's been working on for a couple of years now. And she's having a hard time because of the overwhelm of all the things that she has to do. Because she has a podcast and she has to do marketing and she has a course that she's trying to market and put together all the content for this course. And she's already launched it once and then she's going to launch it again because she's improving it and she's trying to manage her time and all of that. And so she is so overwhelmed. And the reason I bring this up is because back in January of 2016, I wanted to use this method of using post-it notes where you write down on each single piece of post-it where you put down all the things that you have to do in your business. So I'm going to you can do this same thing, like if you want to do it for your life, your personal life, or anything or any goal that you have. But right now, I'm just going to talk about how to use it for your business or if you want to start a business. But the same principles apply to any area of your life you can do this to. So what you do is you actually get all your pretty post-its. It doesn't matter what size or what shape. I just use the standard 3x3 size post-its, but you can use any size you want. You don't want to go too much bigger because then you're just going to waste it. Because the idea is to write down every single task that you have to do and you stick it up on the wall. And now, when I did this back in 2016, I didn't really have a big empty wall that I could put these post-it notes on because I have a lot of windows in my office and there's 2 doors on each side of the office. And so what I did was I had poster paper. And what I did was I printed out a calendar because I wanted to see what visually right in front of me, all the topics I could make videos on. This is when I was making a lot of videos on teaching women how to dress. So I printed out a calendar, 12 months and 30 days. And what I did is I glued it all to this post-it paper. And I'll see if I can take a picture and put it in the show note in the podcast app. I know I can put it on my website, but so what I did was I just cut the post-it notes into smaller strips and I wrote down each month what I could talk about. So there was a specific topic that I would choose for that month. And then I would write down on the post-it notes all the different things I could talk about on that topic. And then I just hung it from my whiteboard. And then that way, when I was getting ready to prepare to make a video, I saw all the different topics for that month that I could talk about. And then I could prepare and figure out what I needed to teach or talk about. And I want to offer you that same solution, that same technique. If you do have a wall space where you can stick the post-it notes to the wall, that's a lot of fun too. But if you don't, just get a big piece of paper, you can get a piece of cardboard, anything that you have that you could move around, if you don't have any place permanent. Like I don't really. I mean, I have a tiny itty bitty wall space over here under the light switch, but I didn't really want it there. I wanted to be able to move this paper around. But do that because when you're overwhelmed, you tend to get all stressed out because you're thinking in your mind all the hundreds of things that you have to do, or you could do, or you want to do, or that you should do. And it gets so overwhelming. And I always say, write it down in a notebook, but take it one step further and write all these things down. That's all the things that are swirling around in your head. Write each one down on a post-it note and stick it up on the wall. So if you have 20 things going on in your head, you should have 20 single post-it notes with one specifically for each thing that you have going on. Because once you get it out of your head and you see it all on paper, it makes a big difference. It's such a big sense of relief because you can visually see it and it's tangible. You can write it on the paper and hold it. You don't have to let it swim around in your head and just make you crazy, because it will make you crazy if you don't get it out on paper somehow. And I know this works for sure because one of my previous clients, I had her do that too. And she was lucky enough where she could put it on her bedroom wall. Her husband didn't mind. And she divided it up by months. And she gave herself 5 months to complete all the things she needed to do. And she just wrote down all the things she needed to accomplish in that month, like secure a domain name, things like that. And, the best part about using Post-it notes is that if you divide things up by months and you say, okay, this month I want to do these few things. And if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, you just pick up that Post-it note and you move it to the next column for the next month to work on. And don't be hard on yourself. You need to give yourself some grace, because you would give other people grace too, right? If they were struggling and you were to tell someone, hey, you know what? Just be easy on yourself. Give yourself some grace if someone didn't accomplish something. Usually women, we're so good at that when we are talking with our friends, our girlfriends, and telling them, hey, it's okay. And so do the same for yourself. Give yourself some grace if you don't finish something that you hope that you would finish in that month. But this is a great way of seeing it. Now it's all materialized. It's all out on paper where you can see it for yourself. And then it becomes so much easier to manage and you lose that overwhelm. It's like overwhelm just seems to dissipate for some reason. I just love it. And it works for me too. So I want you to try that out. I want you to give yourself this time to give this a try and see how it works for you. And let me know how it's working. And I want to cheer you on. And this is something good for you to try, because everyone's life seems to be so busy now. And this is a good way of managing all the things that you have to do. And because you're creative, this is even more of a fun thing to do, because all the different colors and the shapes and sizes. So give this a try and let me know how it's working for you. And make Post-it notes your friend. And I can guarantee it'll work. And please share this podcast with anyone who you know would get great value out of listening to it, especially if you know that they're thinking about starting their own business. Or even if they're not, there's still great value that I share in each episode that can bring value to women, even if they aren't interested in starting their own business. And please rate and review this podcast. I would appreciate it. And thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Aloha.